Hey everybody, you are looking at a delicious 100% homemade apple pie. So in this video, my mom, aka Jackie, is going to walk us through the steps to making this pie, right?
Yes. This is certainly not the only way to make a pie, apple pie that is, or any pie. This is just something for probably 45 years I've made this way.
So if you want to see how to make it, keep on watching.
Cut the apples up for the pie, and of course that involves peeling the apples first. These are Fuji apples. They could be Macintosh, they could be any tart apple. I will be filling a 4-cup measure to the brim, which will actually be more like 5 cups. I will peel the apple, quarter the apple, then I will slice it instead of the long way. I will slice it the short way because I think that's more bite-sized. I don't think this is the traditional way to cut up an apple. I think a lot of people use a chopping board and that, but this is the way my mother taught me. Say I've made hundreds of apple pies and I've never cut myself. I'll say it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Snap!
This is a heaping 4-cup measure, which turned out to be 5 cups of sliced apples. I would buy a 3-pound bag of apples and have, you can see here, 3 left over. Okay, this is going to be the crust. We have 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. We have Crisco. This is the shortening that I choose to use, and it's 2/3 of a cup and 2 tablespoons. This will make it flaky. This will make it edible. You have to stick it together with something. I'm kind of using a mashing motion to try to incorporate this Crisco into the flour mixture. I want this to not be smooth as you would a cake or anything like that. This is the way I like it to look. I like to see a few larger pieces in there and some very small ones. The last ingredient will be 1/4 of a cup of cold water. You can see that's not very much water, but you will be surprised at how that works into this mixture. At this point, I'm going in with my fingertips, trying to just be sure that I get it all together in that. Use your fingertips to kind of gently form that ball that you need. Take a piece of plastic wrap and put that down. When I'm cutting my ball apart, I cut one just a little bit larger than the other one.
And the larger one is your...
The larger one would be my bottom crust, which has to form into the bottom pan, and it needs to be just a little bit larger. Now you can see I'm going to put my hand around the edge and try to form this into a circle. I'm trying to get rid of rough edges. I'm going to take another piece of plastic wrap, and that will be placed on top. I'm going to start in the center and roll out. Flour that I will sprinkle in my pan.
Why is that?
Just to keep it from sticking to the pan. It just seems to work well.
Okay.
I'm going to now pull off the top, lightly sprinkle, just a little bit on there, and I will flip it into the pan.
I was wondering how you were going to get that in there.
That's a little tricky because it's a very tender crust. While this plastic is still on, I'm forming it down into the pan. You want to be sure it gets down into the cracks around the edge there. I'm going to carefully peel my plastic wrap away.
So we just set aside the pie crust. We're moving on to the apples again, and this can be a little thickening for the apples. So what's in that bag, Mom?
I have a cup of sugar, 1/8 of a cup of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to stir that up, and I didn't want to do it any sooner as it would become more watery as it sits.
Hi, Cupcake.
I'm going to put those in. Now we have the apples in here, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. This is actually imperial margarine. We'll work on the top crust. Same thing that we did before. And of course you want air holes in it to come out. You can cut that in slits. You could make a fancy crust topping of any kind, but
Okay.
I had this given to me, so I've used it. You can
All right.
press down and then use my rolling pin. And you'll see
Tiny
apples.
apples.
I'll set these little apples aside as I use these later for decoration. They come out pretty easily.
Okay.
I'm going to dampen the edge with water. This is to hope that both crusts will stick together.
Okay.
I'm going to pick this up carefully
All right.
and flip it over
Whoa.
on top.
I think that's the part I would have trouble with.
And you could, but it takes just a little practice. You get a feel for it, and pretty soon. I'll pull off the saran wrap.
Ta-da! Oh,
You
neat.
can see the edges are never going to be even for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to take some kitchen shears, and I'm going to look around and
AKA scissors.
right, and try to. I'm trying to be professional. And I'm going to try to make this kind of uniform. I'm going to pat the crust together with that water that I've added, and see
Okay.
that forms a nice seal.
Water's like glue.
Now, many people do many things to the edge of a crust. I'm going to turn that under. My hope is, see, to have made this long enough
Okay.
all the way around that I will turn that
That's
under.
how you do it.
Yeah. If I sense an area is lighter weight, like for instance right there,
You've got extra over
I will
here.
poke a piece underneath there and go ahead and turn that under.
I'd almost eat it right now.
Okay. We'll just give it to you.
The old tuck and press.
Yeah. Just to be sure, I have everything as uniform as I can get it.
This is crust quality control.
In the-
I wonder if
yes.
Sara Lee's people do this.
Oh, I'm sure they do. My thumb is placed right here on the crust.
Uh-huh.
My first finger comes in and squeezes. I put my thumb in that hole,
Okay.
squeeze again, squeeze again. So it's a continual squeezing. You can also do it another way, but I'm not going to go into
Wow, it looks cool. Continual squeezing. You almost look like you're just giving it a pinch.
I'm giving it's just like a
Okay,
pinch. It's
okay.
just like a pinch. That's right. So here I go.
Awesome. Wow, that worked well. Okay.
We're done with that section.
The old pinch and squeeze.
All right. Once I've done the pinching, I will go around
And the squeezing.
and the squeezing. I will go back around and check and see that everything is looking very much the same.
What about these little things?
You'll see what happens there. Okay. You'll have me on, do you? Right?
Yes.
Oh no.
This is for the blooper reel.
If it needs an hour to bake, the apples, that crust in comparison is very thin.
I
so
see.
we want to give that some protection. So what we're going to do is I cover the entire pie with foil.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go in with a sharp object,
Like kitchen shears.
kitchen shears, and I start to peel. So I'm just going to go around here and do that. Pie then will be just about ready. Take a little cinnamon, add some sugar to that. Lightly sprinkle that on.
What about these little things?
We will put those on later. But you need support for this foil pan.
Okay,
You'll
so
put
set it
in
on
the oven.
something.
So I was in the center of the oven,
Yes.
and we close the door and hope for the best.
Pinch, squeeze, and hope for the best. That's Mom's new t-shirts coming out in
Okay.
fall of 2012. After 50 minutes in the oven, we just took the pie out, and now Mom's putting on, she's got these little cutouts.
This isn't important, it isn't necessary, but I'm just doing it because I have
You
the
have it.
pieces cut.
A little cinnamon sugar.
Want that to darken up some.
So you're going to take the foil off.
Put this back in the oven for a good 10 minutes.
It is time to take out the pie.
You want to be very careful that you don't let it slide off the pan.
It looks good. And now for the cutting of the pie. Dad?
A+ on the apples.
How about the crust?
Flaky. Super good.
Really good?
Very good.
Is it flaky on the bottom? I have not looked yet.
Yeah, bottom crust is great. Top crust is really good. The apples are not too mushy. Perfect, just like I remember your pies being anytime I've had them before.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. This was my idea of an apple pie, but I know, as I said before, it isn't the only one. So maybe if you have some ideas on one that you like, we'd like to hear it. Bye.